live on Recording the Hip Hop on a Friday, man. How you doing, Coop? That's what's
Yeah.
up. That's what's up. We got some. We got some new music today or this week, rather. Roddy Ricch dropped today.
Mhm.
Um, Bobby Shmurda finally dropped that record with Quavo and Roddy Rebel that people been hearing for a minute. I think it's called Shmoney. I think
Do you
this
like
week I like that song actually.
it?
I liked
I thought
it.
it was
I like the Jim Jones Amigos song too.
I like that more.
I like that more too. But anytime those three guys are together, Takeoff, Quavo, and Offset, I'm with it. And that's why I want to retract my statement from last episode. Culture 3 is definitely the most disappointing album for me in 2021. And I say that respectfully because I know those guys could do better, and this Jim Jones song is proving it. Everybody in the room is coming in. They're saying, "What's up?" TJ said, "Happy Friday, fellas." Michael Williams said, "What's up, guys?" On a Friday. P. White says, "Salute, gentlemen." Yes. What we're going to do today, man, we're going to get into some of those new songs that Dr. Dre released. Did y'all hear those? Dr. Dre has released 6 songs. I think it's going to be on Grand Theft Auto.
Hmm.
And, hey, we went through the songs,
Yeah.
and we want to give our opinions on them, man. Like, off top, after I sent you the link and you checked out the songs, Coop, what were some of your thoughts?
I thought 5 of the 6 songs were really dope.
5 of the 6 songs?
Hmm. Oh,
Which one did you think wasn't that dope?
I didn't think Falling Up was up to standard with the previous
Okay,
records.
okay.
I did. Yeah.
Gospel with Eminem, and maybe I'll wait till more people get in the room because I think Eminem's verse is actually pretty good on here. I
It
think
is. You
Eminem
want
did
to
a
talk
good.
about that now or you want to wait?
We can wait. We can wait on the people, and we got a few people in the room right now. But yeah, Eminem actually did pretty good on Falling Up. I think it's really interesting. Obviously, Dr. Dre is going to be doing the Super Bowl halftime show, which is damn what? That's like nearly a month and a half away from us.
More or less.
Yeah, more or less, probably the first part of February. Well,
Yeah,
the
6 to 8 weeks.
speculation is that Kendrick Lamar, since he's on the bill, he's going to drop an album. Mary J. Blige has already been confirmed of dropping an album. Snoop dropped like 3 songs today, I think. And Snoop dropped an album a couple of weeks ago. Um, Eminem probably not gonna get an album from him, right? But the fact that we're getting new Dr. Dre songs, the biggest speculation on this bill is that Kendrick Lamar is gonna drop new music. And I gotta be honest with you, Coop. I don't see Kendrick dropping in the next month and a half. Do you?
So a couple things. Don't you think this would have been an opportunity to get some warm up right here with some of
I
these
think
records?
so.
Because I
You got
mean,
big dogs on here. Snoop's on here.
yeah,
Eminem's on here. Busta
DLC,
Rhymes is on here.
DLC,
DOC's on here.
yeah,
Nipsey's on here. Ty
yeah.
Dolla Sign's on here. So it's
Ross,
like, yeah, that was the biggest omission for me too, is the fact that Kendrick's not even on these 6 released Dr. Dre records. And he's on the Super Bowl halftime bill. I don't know if we're getting new Kendrick music. I don't know, man.
it's definitely okay. So one of the beautiful things, and I know this isn't a project, but one of the beautiful
Mm-hmm.
things about Dr. Dre projects is that they have a way of like feeling like he seizes the right opportunities at the right moments as a producer and an artist. Doesn't it feel that way?
He
Like
does.
there's something about when he pulls things together,
It's a moment.
it's a moment and things come together. And
Mm-hmm.
so you kind of like when you're looking at the Super Bowl bill and we're seeing Kendrick pop back up and we know who we signed to and we know where he's from and you look at all the other people that are apparently are in tow and I mean and essentially Mike, and we're going to talk about the game for a minute too because it's apparent to us that the game is in tow in this too.
Right.
Like, well, if you actually look at Dr. Dre's like tree of artists that he's worked with, exclusively, like the only person kind of missing is kind of Kendrick because it's like you said, Mike, him and Ice Cube is like kind of a whole nother thing from a whole nother lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
His thing with Nas was brief and transitional these are all the other guys that he's really been rocking with: the DOC, Busta Rhymes, Game, Eminem.
Yeah.
Something I'm
Even
missing.
Rick Ross, you know what I'm saying? Like Dr. Dre has had Rick Ross in pocket, and I actually enjoyed the Rick Ross song the most, and not to mention Anderson .Paak. And Anderson .Paak's another one that I feel like him and Dr. Dre work really well together. Anderson .Paak actually works really well with a lot of people. He works
Mike,
really well with Bruno Mars. Him and Bruno Mars just dropped a dope album together. I know how you feel about Bruno Mars, but I mean, they just dropped a dope project together, and we've seen what Anderson .Paak's been able to add to other people's effort, i.e., King's disease.
yeah. The Anderson Bruno project is dope, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm still going to base it on the music. I still say what I said about Bruno, not changing that because it's true. Um,
Bruno's talented, man, but I mean, on Bruno, real quick, I mean, just so people
never
don't
said
get
he
it
was.
confused.
I never said he
No,
wasn't
no,
talented.
I,
Just put on Versace shirts and jumped in a Cadillac, and we usually call that cultural appropriation. And somehow he just seems to have gotten a hall pass for doing it. But
well,
if you
the
go
thing
look at
about
the previous
Bruno,
project, he's on a bar stool in black and white playing a fake guitar, and
well,
then he
the thing
jumps in.
about Bruno,
No
is
chain. You gotta have the gold chain when you appropriate us, Mike. Don't
no,
forget
no,
that.
I feel you. I feel everything you said, and I agree with it, and it's all accurate. But this is somebody who grew up and was raised as a Elvis impersonator. I think that a lot of the things with Bruno and how he discovered music and how he's put out music is kind of a sense of imitation. And it's like, I don't think that we've seen somebody so talented who basically kind of made a career off of imitation in a sense. Even when he does his throwback stuff. Listen, when I first heard Uptown Funk, I'm like, this ain't Holly Rock. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just being real. Like, I mean, a lot of people don't know Holly Rock like that. But when I'm hearing Uptown Funk You Up, I'm thinking rock, rock, Holly Rock from Crush Groove. But see, that's what he's made a career off of. And if I have any reservations with Bruno, it would be that. I mean, he has the talent to do it. He's a very talented imitator in a sense. And I think everything that you feel like about him kind of goes in sync with that too. You know what I mean? But
Well,
again, when
Mike,
you see those
Mike,
old clips of him like 3 or 4 years old impersonating Elvis, you see like this is his whole journey through music anyway.
well, that's the thing about it. You kind of point to the reason why it really shouldn't be happening. He's actually talented. He don't have to do that. He
Well,
really
I
talented.
guess when you don't have an identity musically, you do. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's one of the things too. Like when we compare people to Michael Jackson and stuff like that, it's like, well, Michael Jackson created his own. Well, no, no, I'm just saying in general. I think one of the things that sets Michael Jackson apart from a lot of people that came after him is the fact that he had his own identity and created those own identities where it wasn't like, oh, okay, you're doing the Fred Astaire. Like, no, this is some new shit.
It's the Michael
And
Jackson.
a lot of people, who came after him from Usher to Chris and all of them, they don't have like their own signature stuff. We don't
Okay,
really have a lot of people in this era of stars that have their own signature thing. And so I think that's why Bruno's been able to exist in this ecosystem, if that makes any sense.
no. So I mean, and we're going to get back on subject in a minute. But Mike, what
Yeah,
what 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 the truly greats and what the legends do is they took who came before them and they really freak it properly and make it their own. When
right.
you go, I mean, and we've spoke about this. It's like, well, Mike, when we saw Prince and Michael Jackson respectively when we were kids, and now that we're older, we can see the James Brown influence on both sides played out in different ways because both of those guys took their interpretations of it and made it into their own. You
Well,
get what
how
I'm
do you feel
saying?
about Kobe? And I mean, rest in peace to Kobe, but we could sit there and look at Kobe's movements and a lot of the things he did on the court, which take immense skill, but they were carbon copies of Michael Jordan in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
How,
but
you know,
but also but that's what I'm saying too. But Kobe made some things his own. Like here's the thing: Kobe's a better shooter than Mike.
definitely. And I
You
think
know,
that, and again, not to get too far off subject, I think that, the 3 point shot became a little bit more important in that era than it was in Jordan's era. And we've seen that shot continuously be improved upon as generations go on, i.e., Steph Curry basically breaking the 3 point record in like 700 games less than it took Ray Allen to do. Was it
yeah,
five?
think it's five. I think
Was
it's
it?
500 games less, something like that.
Well, that's still crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like what? I know my math is not the best right now. What, 6 seasons or so?
More or less.
Something like that. But yeah, I mean, but saying all that to say, I think that making your own as time has moved forward, I guess it's been either harder or we don't have a lot of originals anymore. And I hate to sound like the old dude in the room, but and that's why I
no.
really love, and people can say whatever they want about people like Future and Young Thug. I do respect their ability to be their own thing. You know what I'm saying?
What Future say? I took and freaked it.
I love that. And again, the same reasons why we loved Old Dirty. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no one's sitting here saying Old Dirty is Big Daddy Kane on the mic, but what he was able to do.
Mike, I mean, but here's what I'm saying. He showed Big Daddy Kane up live one time. Old Dirty did.
Well,
They were on the same stage live one time. Yeah, he's a showstopper like that. So he can take it from even somebody like the caliber of Kane. And think about who we're talking about. Mike Kane is, up there as the greatest hip hop performer ever. And we just saw him live this year. Yeah. Like, Old Dirty could take it from somebody like that. So style matters.
It does. And I guess we got on this talking about Anderson .Paak, right? I think
I want to circle back around to Anderson .Paak because I had a couple thoughts. You want to know who he is to me?
Who's that?
It's Nate Dogg 2.0. And this is what I mean about taking something and making your own. He's doing the same thing Nate Dogg is doing. He's just doing it in today's times, and he's just doing it on his level. It's not that West Coast necessarily G-Funk. It's just kind of like modernized. He's obviously a drummer, so it's real like drum inspired when he's coming in. That fits right into like melodies and the hits of hip hop because guess what it started off of? It started off loops and kicks and samples from the drummers that James Brown had in his band. So I kind of
felt like that on ETA, right? Was that the song that Anderson's on that you're talking about? It's funny you say that because one of these songs, I think it's ETA. I felt Nate Doggish stuff going on.
Isn't he on like the Scenic Group?
He's on the Scenic Group as well.
But isn't he on the one before? Isn't he on ETA too?
That's what I was saying. He's on ETA, I believe, too.
Yeah. But Mike, so how about this? Like, I'm with you. The Scenic Group might be the best track, but ETA is the one that most feels like a Dr. Dre Chronic or Chronic 2001 record.
I want to talk to you about that because that's what I got from these records. And for the people who are just coming in the room, we're talking about the 6 new Dr. Dre songs that were released. We had Gospel, ETA, the Scenic Group featuring Rick Ross. ETA was featuring Snoop Busta Rhymes. That was Anderson .Paak as well. Gospel was featuring Eminem. And he also had Diamond Mine featuring Nipsey Hussle and Ty Dolla $ign, a song called Black Privilege, and another song called Falling Up. Those are the songs we're talking about right now. And what I wanted to ask you is the fact that does it feel like Dr. Dre has his own sound with any of these, or is it scattered?
Okay, a little scattered, but not in a bad way all the way because this isn't an album, so we can't look at these songs like they're put together in total album mode. Because here's the problem anytime Dr. Dre drops something, like it doesn't matter what it is and in what format, we think about the Chronic, we think about the Chronic 2001, and so the expectation is that the album's going to be pretty much flawless.
Well, see, that happens, though, because we don't have a lot to pull from. We don't have too much to really compare it to.
Yeah, Mike, what we have to pull from as a whole from the guy is pretty epic. And so those are what I like to call nice little bookend pieces for everything else that he's done. And so it carries heavy, heavy weight, but it also carries heavy, heavy burden. And so the burden of that is that the expectation, Mike, on a scale of 5, every time he drops something is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. You know what I'm saying?
How'd you like the Gospel featuring Eminem and DLC?
I'm about to say, do you want to run these tracks in order or you want to hop around?
Let's run them in order.
So, Mike, with Gospel with Eminem, this is one of those reasons where I'm like, no, he can spit. Mm-hmm. There you go. That's why I'm like, it's like, no, he's not like in the greatest MC of all time conversation for me. But when I be saying, like, you can't hear that dude can rhyme his ass off, this is what I'm talking about, Mike. Like, just this.
I don't want to be a Skip Bayless, because I think the verse is good. I think that, his...
Good, Mike. I mean, when you're saying good, are you saying above average? Because the verse is above
It's
average.
one of the better verses that he spit for a minute, in a minute. But see, the thing is, it's
I like
like,
Skip Bayless.
and you, the thing is, you and I were talking about this, right? And we were talking about this when we were talking about cannabis, and we were talking about cannabis in his prime. And you were talking about you used Nas's verbal intercourse verse, for example. It's like when you're dope on the mic, you don't have to do the 32 bar verses, man. You don't, you know what I'm saying? And even Eminem in his prime, he didn't used to have to do that. He
Yeah,
didn't
six.
go on Forgot About Dre just, going like 32 bars. Like when you're dope, it feels like Eminem feels like he has something to prove at this point. And honestly, at this point in his career, you don't. Like you don't have anything to prove to that degree. He do you feel like he's kind of switched his whole MO as an MC? He's more of like a Tech Nine ish type of approach to music now, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna fast flow you out. I'm gonna bar you out with like 32 something. He didn't used to do that, and not saying that people can't change, but I feel like some unnecessary bars here. And again, I'm not trying to be super critical. I think it's a decent verse, but there were some questionable bars in there.
I mean, because of sometimes just his chosen rhetoric and how he likes to spin off on stuff and where he likes to go. I get what you're saying with what could be coined as questionable bars. I don't think those bars are as questionable as you say, in
What
particular on
about?
this
Hold on, do you
verse.
like the bar? What he said? Overhead, like a quarterback overthrowing a receiver, something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay,
Stuff like
Mike,
that. It's like,
I didn't love the bar, but what I loved was the composition of the flow because he did actually. You want to know what, Mike? You know what he did with that type of delivery? He did some of what Jay did on Renegade, which is like that double entendre flow, which is where you're catching two bars in between, but those bars that lie on the outside on the first and fourth bar are catching each other too. That's the double entendre bar scheme. Not every MC can pull that off.
that
That's why
is
I'm saying.
super technical, Coop. And we only get this technical when this guy's in concern. I think it's a decent verse. I'm trying to pull up some of the lyrics real quick. I mean, it was oh, here we go. I knew they would have it up. Good old rap genius. Okay, so let's see. Some of the people in the comments are saying that it's just overkill at this point. Oh, DeCarlo's an Eminem fan. He's in the room. I want to hear what he has to say. He said, "I just want M to take his time like he used to. The songs are just bars and fast rapping these days." See, he's an Eminem fan and agrees with that. I agree with that. I think that if he can, like you said,
Not
take his,
even rapping that fast on this one though.
he's not. It's just so many bars, man, and it's like,
It's a lot of
give us a
bars.
dope 16. It's fine, man. Oh, here it is. Nate Diaz.
Hold on. In fairness to him, if I'm not mistaken, the way the format is set up on the track for gospel, though, it's 224s. I mean, I've only heard the record like a time and a half, so I
Right,
can't,
right.
you know.
Well, here's some of the bars here, right? Uh, like close in between the two rollers. And wait, hold on. Oh, here it is. But I ain't finished putting these hoes through the ringer. Like clothes in between two rollers. And wait, no, what I mean is the flows inwoven. And I treat them like thread. Why? That's how I wound up sewing machine up. No, I don't know, man. It's a lot of. I could spot you like you about to weight lift.
Next song, Mike.
I could
Next song.
no. I could spot you like you about to weight lift. Bitch, I'm better than cake mix. Can't be whipping the beaters. I I don't know. It's kind of like who this reminds me of, and this is interesting. It feels like Eminem has been inspired by Lil Wayne to a degree. These type of reaches sometimes kind of remind me of like when Lil Wayne does the whole, G's moving silence like lasagna type of stuff, and it's like I get it, but eh.
I kind of happen to like that, Mike. Real G's moving silence like lasagna. I like that bar.
I don't love the bar because man, lasagna doesn't move. I know it sounds crazy, but it's like when Jay
So,
did that whole like a
Mike,
running
it's
back. No, he's like a running back. I'm straight with the rock. I can run it back, nigga, because I'm straight with the rock. That works all around. You know what I'm saying? That works from the running back getting the rock, the ball, to him getting Rockefeller, running it back, the running back, he's running it back again with Rockefeller. Those work. I feel like the lasagna thing is a broken bar because lasagna doesn't move. I'm sorry. I get what he's saying, obviously, but when you say move, then the lasagna has to be a part of that. It can't just be the G part and the silence in it. You know what I mean? Oh.
who's being technical now?
It's like when he did like I Brooklyn Dodger them. I jack, I rob, I sin. Yeah, man, I'm Jackie Robinson. Except when I move bass, I'm dodging the pin. Like that works all around. All around.
Who are you
I
comparing him to?
jack, I rob, I sin. We talking goat talk.
So that's what I said, Mike. I started this off by saying I don't think he deserves to be in the GOAT talk, but I think he can rhyme his ass off. So when you're bringing up GOATs and comparing them to him, well, it's like, well, that's what I was saying. It's like, well, I don't think he's in that talk.
I like the song. Saying all that to say, I think that was a decent verse from
Who
Eminem.
you?
I think Eminem did a good job. I mean, we just have to face the fact that Eminem's not, the Eminem of 2002.
I mean, I accepted that a while ago. I mean,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that he can't have like, above average mic performances like the one we just witnessed.
But
In
out
my
of the
opinion.
out of the 6 songs, I think this might be my second least favorite.
Second, yeah, probably, yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
liked
probably.
ETA. I liked ETA, like you said. I think that sounds the most like a Dr. Dre esque track. I think
Yeah.
when Dre and Snoop get together, obviously there's some chemistry there. I think, in my personal opinion, they're the best rapper producer combo ever.
So, Mike, I mean, get out of my head because I'm kind of saying the same thing with my notes. Because I wrote, who sounds best on Dr. Dre's beats ever? Snoop, Doggy Dog, Mike. That's what ETA is more proof of. It
Yeah.
is like if Dr. Dre is the greatest hip hop producer ever, well, who sounds best on a Dr. Dre track? Well, that's Snoop, Mike. What does that say about who Snoop is? Once again,
Yeah. He's one of the greats.
it's
Um, I
more
was
proof.
reading
So
some of the
ETA is proof of
comments.
that. But
Huh?
also, too, you know what I mean? And this is what I mean about the camps in tow. The way Busta is weaving in, you can tell Busta's been around with this camp for a while now.
Speaking of being around, and I know we're going to cover this, it feels like the game probably wrote all of these songs.
Mike, when I hear most of the deliveries and flow patterns, most of it either belongs to Busta or Game, in my opinion. Do you not agree?
Yeah. And obviously the song with Rick
Like
Ross. I
some of the New York talk sounds like Buster to me. A little bit of it because there are a couple of spots where it's kind of like Buster's old choppy flow. Remember Buster's old choppy flow a little bit?
mm-hmm.
I can hear some of that, and because Dre's not like an MC like MC's MC, I can hear him delivering that more old school Buster style when Buster's giving it out to him. Because I hear a little bit of that. But like you, Mike, I hear mostly the game. Listen to these bars, Mike. Hard pill to swallow, Juice World, Ice Cube sitting by the dock,
Ho,
O'Shea.
ho,
That's
ho,
game.
ho. It's funny you pulled out that Juice World line because when I heard it,
Hard pill to
I was
swallow,
like,
Juice World.
that's
Game.
hella insensitive. But that's game.
That's
That's
game. That's how you
game.
know it's game, Mike. I'm like, that is
Yeah.
so ruthless and insensitive. Dr.
Yeah.
Dre wouldn't say that. I'm thinking to myself, Dre wouldn't say that. Snoop wouldn't say that. DLC,
Exactly.
you know who would say that, Mike. We know who
Yeah.
would say that.
And the name dropping in the insensitivity, that's definitely game.
Like Ice Cube sitting by the dock, O'Shea. That's classic game.
Yeah, that's game.